Guys, are you hearing us and seeing us correctly? Hello? Hey. We'll wait just a few seconds more. Yay, hi, cool. A few seconds more for all registrant ones. Okay, cool. So we already tested the chat. Yay, hey, cool, amazing. So if you may, okay, so there was a, okay, cool. This is cool that we are hearing us. So guys, if we already tested the chat and it's working, maybe another question. Do you use RSAT? Yes or no? We will create such a survey and the link will be just within seconds visible in the chat section. And you can fulfill that and we will check the results of the survey by the end of this webinar. Yeah. But if you want to, you can share also the information if you are using the RSAT here in the chat. Okay, cool. Yeah. Remember to click and subscribe our Executive Automats YouTube channel. I'm Rafał Nyszewski, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar, How to Automate Regression Testing in D365, RSAT or Executive Automats. I'm glad that you have joined us, and a couple housekeeping things before we get started, just to regulate a bit our show here. The chat is on. We have tested, so you can ask any questions during the webinar, and we will answer them during this question answers section of today's show. Also, we are recording this session, and we'll send the link to the recording to the email address that you have registered with. So remember to check all your email boxes. Okay, moving forward to today's webinar agenda. First, we will tell you how often you should do the regression test. Afterwards, we'll move to the point showing valuable knowledge how to test, to start to test and automate those tests. Then comparison between RSAT and our test automation tool, the Executive Automats. And next, we'll jump to the topic showing how much you can basically earn if you will automate your tests. Simply return on investment simulation. Last but not least, as I have mentioned before, question answer session. Today with me is Paweł Woźniak, our head of our quality assurance team dedicated to Executive Automats framework. Okay, Paweł, so yeah, the stage is yours.
Okay, so first we will speak about how often we should perform the regression test. So there is no constant period when we should perform regression tests, but we can split this topic into two phases. Regression tests during Dynamics implementation process or regression tests during post-go live. So during implementation process, test automation can significantly speed up delivery process of implemented solution. But test automation process should be considered and detailedly planned during the initial stage of the project. With the right approach, test automation can start as soon as the test scope is defined, and QA team can start automation of the requirements gathered during the analysis. So all the feeds can be changed into the test cases and automated as soon as they are defined. For the gaps, we can say that the safe moment to create test case or automated test is when development of gap is over and the client signs off the modification. So during the implementation phase, regression tests should be executed every time that the major change, major update, major modification is deployed to the test environment. And automation can help a lot in that matter. And then we have the second phase in post-go live. We can assume that the regression pack of test cases is already prepared, whatever, if it's manual or automated. we can say for sure that we should execute tests after every maintenance, every service maintenance done to the environment, and of course when Microsoft will release a new 1 version update. Of course, after preparation, automated tests are less time consuming, so we can test more and we can cover more of the processes in our project. Overall, we can define 3 triggers for the regression testing. First is internal changes. So every time we deploy any modifications to the environment, we can run regression tests. Second trigger is ISV updates. So this is when the third-party software, which is key for our business, gets updated, gets changed. So this will be the trigger for our regression pack as well. And the last one, which is most obvious, this is a Microsoft update of Dynamics environment. So every time that when Microsoft will decide to update our environment, we are sure that we should run our regression tests. So we can move to the next point. This is how to start with test automation. So if any project wants to start with test automation, first we need to answer when we should do that. When is the right time to start automating our tests? And the answer is anytime is right to change approach from manual to automated. But we can't start automation without any plan how we want to do this. So where should we start? First, in my opinion, with the team. So we should define which roles, which people, which responsibilities are required to accomplish test automation goals. And here there is a RSAT matrix, which is a very helpful tool to define which roles, which responsibilities are needed during our automation project. And then it helps to find out right people, which people we should delegate to this automation project. So yeah, we should use RSAT matrix for sure, but some roles are most common and they are appearing in every project. Those roles are test manager, so the person which is responsible for delivering test automation goals. He is responsible for everything what is happening in the matter of automation. Then we have quality assurance specialists. These people have a knowledge about test automation, and they are responsible to change the manual test cases into automated tests. And lastly, the most common role is IT administrator or DevOps engineer. So the people which will help us to set the environments, to set up everything, to migrate data, or simply do the maintenance of the environments. So team is the first thing which we should consider during planning for test automation. The second thing is test scope as well as the test case definition. So the scope of tests consists of a list of test cases to be prepared and executed in order to verify correctness of the functioning of the system. So test scope is prepared based on functional requirements guaranteed during implementation process. It should cover all the key processes that are needed for our business. So the test manager with the team should define also test case definition, which is specified shape of the test cases that we will create during the project. So it should include things like prerequisites, so what needs to be done to perform test case steps, of course, so what needs to be done to get to the expected result, data variance, so if test case is based on the data, we should include it in our test case. Of course, expected results, so what result we should expect after doing all the steps in our test case, and priority, where the priority of test case is very important for regression testing, and its scope, because it tells you which test cases should be automated at first, and which tests should be executed regularly with the regression pack. And also helps to set coverage of testing. And overall coverage is the best tool to answer if we are testing enough or we should test more. So the next thing to be planned before we start automation in our organization is tool management. In simple words, we should plan which tools we will use for the automation project. And the most important tool is the one which we will use to create automated tests and execute automated tests. But also we should plan everything what is around the tool, like trainings, tool capabilities and limits as well, and also time required to learn the tool, to cover the scope, and to create a single test. So automation tool is most important for the project, but test manager should also consider tools for test project management, like Azure DevOps, Jira, reporting tools like Power BI, Excel, team management tools, documentation management tools, so like SharePoint, for example. So there are many other tools which might be helpful to deliver automation goals. In this matter, Executive Automats is a tool which covers not only test automation itself, but also contains many features to support automation project in almost every aspect, like test management, documentation, and reporting. So last point to be planned before starting with the automation is test reporting and communication within the project. We should design and plan the shapes of every report that we will use during automation project. For example, regression test results, also progress report. Also, we should plan the paths of communication within the team, with the business, with the team, and stakeholders to make it simple as possible. That's all. Of course, regression testing is a much larger topic, and there are still plenty of things worth to mention. But today we covered only the basic areas required to start with automation projects. So, Rafael, up to you.
Yeah, right now we are just moving forward to dive into the RSAT. So now we will just share the screen with RSAT application to show you how the free regression suite developed by Microsoft tool is looking like. Okay, are we ready? Just we are ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's dive into our RSAT tool. All right, so we will start with RSAT tool, and we will start with a task recorder of recording of the free text invoice process. So first, we will create recording. Then after the RSAT session, we will do also the Executive Automats session as well. And we will do the same steps. So first, we will name the recording, free text invoice. Let's start recording. And then let's move with the process. So accounts receivable, all free text invoices. We'll create new one. And we will fill all the required fields, like customer account, okay, and then description. Oh, sorry, test, main account, and unit price. So that's all for the first line, so we can post invoice. All right. And let's wait until it's posted. So after posting the invoice, we will stop the recording, and we can save the file to our computer. Then let's imagine the situation that we forgot to record something, like, for example, adding the second line. So what we will do now, we will edit the same recording which we did, and we will add steps to create second line for our invoice. So let's edit recording. Let's open a new invoice, and we will fill all the fields, and we will insert new steps. Sorry, let's start again. Let's edit once again the same recording, and we need to start new invoice before we edit steps. So we'll select customer account once again. Once again, the description, main account, and unit price. And now we can insert new steps, and we will add new line. So something for description, main account, unit price. Okay, and also we will save step for the currency field. So when we want to copy value from currency field, we will show you how to do that in RSAT. We just right-click on the field and click copy, copy the step. And okay, we don't need to post it because steps are already there, so we can done editing. We can save recording once again with the new steps, and now we can move to RSAT tool to add this test case here. So free text invoice. Let's find it. Okay. Save. Now we will generate the test execution and parameter files. It's required to run any test. So we have to do that. And now we can play back our script. So what we did, we recorded script, then we forgot to add some steps. So we modified the script, and now we will play back the script. So in a minute, we'll do exactly the same in Executive Automats, so we can compare how this process will look like in EA when we need to record steps, then record new steps, which we forgot to record initially, and then we will play back script. Okay, so there is not much we can see in RSAT because it's doing things so fast. It's a little bit different in Executive Automats. It lets us see how the process is performed. And post, okay. All right. And now we can move to the Executive Automats. All right, so we are in Executive Automats. So we started recording, and now we can move with free text invoice process. So I will go to accounts receivable, all free text invoices. I'll create new, and the same as in RSAT. So I will select customer account, then the description, test, main account, unit price, and then post. So the first part is done when we recorded our script. Then we can move to the second part where we need to add second line in our invoice. So Compared to RSAT, I will do this differently. I will just select where I need my new steps, and then I can play back my script until this moment. So I don't need to open new invoice. I don't need to fill all the fields manually. I can play my script to a certain moment, and then it will stop, and I will be able to add this new line to my invoice. So let's wait a few seconds. Okay, then the unit price and player stopped. So I can switch again to recorder. I can click record new steps. So I can add new line. There's 2. Imagine that you have 100 steps or 200 steps and you need to manually click them or execute them. Here in EA, it's way simpler. You can just playback script and then record steps in the middle of your process. So new steps recorded for second line. I will also save value for my currency, but I will need to create a new variable, but I will also create it with condition. So I will immediately not only save the value of currency, but I can quickly create validation for this currency field. Okay, then we can play back the script and check the results. So here you can compare how the both situations look like. One in RSAT, when you need to record script, then record new steps for this script, you need to modify this script, and how it looks in Executive Automats, exactly the same situation. You need to record script, record new steps, and playback. So it's up to you to decide which process is better. Okay, so now player will add the first line. And now the second line. Now step 18 got value from currency, and then step number 19 checked value if it's dollars or something else. Now the invoice got posted and script is over. We can move to the history. We can see that the whole execution is over, and we can see all the steps as well as the validation. Okay, that's all for the showdown. I can give it back to the Rafał. And
yes, guys. Thank you, Paweł, for the presentation of those 2 tools. As you can see that there is a difference between them. But if you want to use the Executive Automats by your own and check how much is better than RSAT and how easily can automate your test and regression test suits, you can use the following link in the chat section. The link will give you the ability to book yourself a free Executive Automats trial program. Okay, moving forward to next thing which we want to show you, guys, is how to derive return of investment out of the test automation. I will show you the example of our actual client who decided to go with the to do the test automation with usage of Executive Automats. And key assumption: client from US region, retail sector, 200 test scripts executed per every month, 400 test cases in the testing and the test plan, and 1 hour average time required for the tester to record and prepare each test case. 10% yearly maintenance, because we need to remember that processes are changing and we need to secure the time for the maintenance. And around 30% of an hour time required for tester to go through the one manual test case, because we are challenging if the manual test is better in this particular scenario or not. And how it looks like in terms of return on investment. As you can see in the presented chart, there is a huge difference, because I put the two figures together, I'll say two tools together, the RSAT and EA. The difference is huge. Why the difference is that such huge? That is, RSAT is much less user-friendly tool, and the average time of initial automated test script creation is usually around 50% longer than RSAT. In terms of assertions, loops, etc., it's easier to do it with the executive automats, basically faster than with RSAT. That's why this is the first year when the people are coming and meeting the project that they need to automate the test, the return on investment is such a minus in the RSAT because of the time which is required for the automation. Executive automats is like all tester dreamed capabilities, having like all of those. It's easy maintenance. There is a very easy maintenance of that. We can easily change, copy, paste, combine the scripts together, link them together, and all this in very simplified user interface. So everyone can do and create the test scenario. In summary, that is why we are expecting like 100% return of investment after the 5th year of the executive automats. And this is like less than 3 times more than the test automation with RSAT. So moving forward to the short comparison between those two tools, this is the table which is comparing the two tools together. It's also visible on our website. So if you want to go in the details, you can visit our website, www.executiveautomats.com. Okay, so RSAT is quite hard to install, requires a tech support to start using it. In EA, it's just like ready within an hour. And we are counting this time with the training, which give you a very good starting point to use the executive automats with all the capabilities. It's very hard to create and modify already created script with RSAT. I know that Pavel shown you a very simple script, but imagine that you have like 100 steps in the one script, and you need to go, maintain, change the steps between. And with drag and drop capabilities of the executive automats, it's like easy to do. RSAT average time to create and run simpler script, and it's like even a double longer than with executive automats. And what is the most, I would say, quite interesting thing is there's no space for reconfiguration in RSAT. We show you today a tool which is basically already configured with the environment. But imagine that you have like multiply environments, and you need to test all of them in terms of user acceptance tests or others, and you cannot simplify copy those test scripts or testing scenarios which you have created. You need to create it from the scratch. With executive automats, you can switch between the virtual users and system definitions, even in one testing scenario, even in one testing script. So this is a huge difference. And one more thing is that there's no, I would say, internal API usage in RSAT. This is a huge gap in terms of like any end-to-end testing scenario. RSAT is limited into dynamics environment. And imagine that with EA, you can basically test whole business process, starting from, I don't know, shopping, web shop-based application like Magento, and checking if the information about the client is the same in the Dynamics environment after he will or she will buy something, And with RSAT, you will not do that. There is not such capabilities of the software. So again, if you want to know more, visit our webpage, and there is a huge information about that, what and how, what kind of path you should choose, and why there is a huge difference between that. And last thing, which should be mentioned, that in the beginning, that you can easily check that in the internet. You can find information that the road map of the RSAT was changed. So basically, it won't be developed anymore. So yeah, you need to change the better solution for yourselves and your capabilities, what you want to do in terms of the test automation. Okay, we are just moving to the moment when we have the question and answer session. So how the surveys look like? It seems like that we have like 50 to 50. So yeah, so a couple of you guys are using the RSAT and a couple of you are not using the RSAT. So this is cool that you're hoping that you are using the executive automats already. But if not, go ahead and reach us out. We would like to share with you the trial environments as you will ask. So go ahead and do that. Okay. I will. Okay, Pavel, I will keep you, because guys, we are all together here and with Pavel, so that's why we need to mute each other itself. So this is live. We are sitting in the same space. So Pavel is right now mute, but I will answer Pavel the first question which we are having here on the chat section. I will present that.
Okay, so can EA be scheduled to run at a set time every day? Yes, it is. It is possible. We have a feature which is called scheduler, which is obviously used for scheduling the tests. We can select which tests, which pack of scripts we want to batch, something similar to batch jobs like in Dynamics. Then we can select which time it should trigger, which time it should get executed. And there is also option to repeat the whole batch job, the whole scheduler, like every hour, every month, every day, every week. So you can select which scripts, which time they should start, and how many times you want to repeat this batch job. So yeah, answering your question, yeah, this is possible. Thank you. Do we have something else?
Can we do a cross-platform test with executive automats?
Yes. We have two options in executive automats how we can do the cross-platform testing. First option is to use login steps. So in executive automats, we can put special step in the middle of your script, which will change environment or the user during your test. So you can start your test in one environment and then add this special step, which will change environment to something else, for example, Dynamics for Sales. And then you can continue the process in this second platform. And then if it's needed, you can go back to the first platform as well. But there is also a second option, which is mostly used, which allow you to link scripts together. So you can create one script which will include two other scripts. For example, one script will start process in Dynamics for Finance and Operation. Then we will add second script, which is recorded and played back in Dynamics for Sales. So we have two options how we can do that, but the overall answer is yes, we can do the cross-platform test with executive automats. We did a lot of POCs, we have a lot of experience with different platforms than Dynamics. We used web shops, Dynamics for Sales, Dynamics Cloud Point of Service. So we can register for free trial and try that. Thank you. Okay.
I would just display Pavel this meeting. Come on. Question. This is what we have answered. And
yes, the general answer is yes. There is not much difference between Dynamics for Finance and Operation and Dynamics for Sales. In the matter how it cooperates with Executive Automats, we can add Dynamics CE as a system definition in the same way as the for Finance and Operation, and we use the same virtual user feature to get authenticated for Dynamics CE, and then recording and playback looks exactly the same in Dynamics for Sales like in Dynamics for Finance and Operations. So yeah, overall question, yes, it can be used. Yes, we can work with on-premise Dynamics 365, and there is a second part of this question: if it will still be easier than RSAT. Yes, it will be easier because the only difference here is the installation process. So when you have a cloud version of Dynamics, you can also use a SaaS version of Executive Automats, which is hosted by XPlus, and everything is installed and maintenance is on our side. For Dynamics on-premise, we just need to install Executive Automats on your server. So the installation process is different, but it will take around 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. But then how you will use your tool, the tool, how you will set up environments inside Executive Automats, how you will record scripts or playback scripts is exactly the same like with non-on-premise versions. So it still will be easier than RSAT. You don't need any certificates. You don't need any, I don't know, strange things to set up, or you can add as many system definitions as you need, even if it's on premise. So yeah, we can go on. So can EA test workflow? Yes, so if we can log in as a different user to approve workflow. When I was telling you about the cross-platform testing, I mentioned the login steps. This is the easiest way to test workflows with Executive Automats. So obviously, answer is yes. During our process, in the middle, we can put special step, which is login step, and this step can switch between the users. So you can start your process with one user, then put one step to switch users, then, for example, approve workflow, then you can switch back user to the first one to post your journal or invoice. So basically, you can use login steps as many times as you wish within your process, and you can switch between environments, users. So workflows are handled pretty easy, and after the initial 1 hour training, you will know how to do that. That's the very good question. If we can integrate with pipelines, answer is yes. We have special plugin in Microsoft Marketplace, which is free of charge, so you can always add it to your Azure DevOps. And this plugin allows you to create a pipeline, and there are options to run scheduler from Executive Automats, single script, or the project. So you can integrate with Executive Automats by pipelines to trigger scripts, projects, or schedulers.
Thank you, Pavel. I'm moving forward to the next question, so we'll keep in that kind of way to not make another echo.
Sure. Yeah, so this is a similar question to the previous one. If we can integrate with Azure DevOps. Yes, we are integrating with Azure DevOps. We have few features which are included in this integration, but the most important one is integration with test cases. So we can export projects and test cases from Executive Automats created in Executive Automats to the test plans and test cases in test plans in Azure DevOps. Then everything what is executed in Executive Automats, the results will get also reflected in Azure DevOps. So you can run your tests in Executive Automats and get the results in Azure DevOps. That's the one feature, and I think the most important. The other one is to integrate with pipelines, what I mentioned before. So this is also the possibility, but there is also one nice feature to integrate with work items. So Executive Automats allows you to automatically or manually create work items inside your Azure DevOps based on events in the scripts in Executive Automats. So for example, when your script will end up with error, you can click one button to create bug inside your Azure DevOps with screenshot and full information about why this error happened. So this is very cool and very easy to raise tickets, raise bugs based on the errors found by automated tests in EA.
Another question. When you provide parallel testing, and with which tool is better to do that? I would say the answer is quite obvious.
Yes, we can do parallel testing with Executive Automats. I never done it with RSAT tool, but as far as I know, it is possible, but it is very hard. We need to use multiple terminals or multiple devices. That I know that this is not that easy to do. In Executive Automats, we can use this scheduler feature, which I mentioned before. This scheduler allows you to run scripts in two options. One is sequential, when you run tests one by one. So you want to be sure that one script is over and then second is starting. But also in parallel options. So you can add like 10 scripts and execute them all at once. So you will get the results in 1 minute. So in that matter, I guess EA is much easier, so better as well.
Okay, moving to the next question, also from Katya, and about the warehouse in Tier 2, I think, environment, as the Executive Automats works also.
So this is quite complicated because we can use the emulator of warehouse application, which is the web emulator, and Executive Automats is handling this one very easily. But as far as I know, Microsoft is going to disband this emulator. Then the only option will be to use warehouse mobile application and the validator, which is inside Dynamics. And we can use that, but only on Tier 1 environment. On Tier 2, this option is not available, but both for EA and for RSAT. So if not using this emulator, so when Microsoft will turn off this emulator, then we need to use mobile application and validator inside Dynamics on Tier 1. And there is no difference between RSAT and EA. Both will work the same at this matter. Okay.
Cool. Another question. We have a lot of questions today.
That's good. So, for scale on Jira, so that when the status automation to Zephyr. Now we don't have this integration yet because there was no demand from our clients at the moment. So right now we do not integrate, but I assume that this should be possible. So if we will get many tickets on that to make it possible, I think this will be possible to do that. But we integrate with Azure DevOps, as I mentioned, so probably it works quite similar.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very good point, which Pavel have mentioned. We are very open for the ideas of our clients. So if there will be a need, we can do that. There is no like any obstacle which will prevent that for us. Okay, then another question. Thank you, Pavel.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. We are commercial, so we do require a license. Rafa, maybe you can.
Yeah, I think I will tell a little bit more about that. Yeah, Anvesh, if I have pronounced correctly your name, that's correct. That's correct. EA requires us, as our customer, to buy the license of the EA. But you need to remember one thing, which also there is a question about that. Is it true that RSAT will not longer be supported? If you want to use a tool which will be not longer supported, and you can imagine how many troubles you can jump in to do that, and no one will take a responsibility for that, only you, as you are using the free tool, go ahead. But I think if we are a good organization and we know that if we'll not test it, something will hit the wall in some time with the issues, it's better to use the commercial tool, which has the responsibility, has the support, and yeah, will take physically your hand and help you with all the troubles which you're having with your test automation journey. So next question. What is the best approach to run same test in 8 to 10 different companies? Comparison between RSAT and EA. Pavel, you want to take that?
Yeah. So in Executive Automats, we usually do we have two approaches how we can do that. One is to create script for the initial company. Then we can clone it and change the values for other companies. But this is not used very much. This is similar to RSAT, but there is better approach, which is Excel files. So we can create one script and then create Excel file with data variants, and then we can loop the script to run the same tests with different data on different companies. So you simply record one script, one test, then you can add very, very easy to make, very simple Excel file to add it to your script, and then you loop your script to execute the same test with different data on different companies. So this is different than in RSAT. In RSAT, we can only clone scripts and change the variants. So you cannot run one test with different variants, but you need to clone it. Okay, hopes it answers your question, Thomas.
Cool. There are a couple of many other questions, but okay, go ahead to the next one. Does it support the advanced warehouse processes where we have multiple picks and puts? And another question of Yangesh, how does it work with the mobile device?
So both tools in that matter works similar. We need to use built-in task validator from Dynamics. So what the Executive Automat script do, it just opens the validator and then triggers a script from the validator. So inside Dynamics, we have task recorder, which is used to record the warehouse process. And then we can use the validator inside Dynamics to run the script and use Executive Automats to trigger those scripts. I know that in RSAT it looks completely the same. We just trigger scripts from the validator by using RSAT scripts. So we do not log in to the mobile device, but we log into Dynamics and trigger scripts which are recorded in mobile device. Thank you, Agnieszka. Sorry. Is it true that RSAT will no longer be supported? Not sure if no longer be supported, but it won't be developed anymore. So Microsoft will not upgrade RSAT tool. So there will be no longer new versions, new features. So I guess the support will be limited as well. Probably you will always be able to ask questions to the Microsoft, but as far as I know, there is no real support for RSAT, and there won't be, and I guess it will be limited at some point as well. And you can be sure that there will be no more features, and the tool will just stay as it is at the moment. So yeah.
Thank you, Pavel. That's correct. That we cannot, pretend that nothing had happened. And in terms of what we have seen in communication, we say in the jammer and the developer of the RSAT, the head of the developer, I think, shared such information that the roadmap has changed and it won't be delivered more. So as soon as probably there will be such a significant time that the RSAT will have capabilities, all the capabilities which are required for the regression suites, but it will end. So yeah. Okay. Moving to the next question. How much does the tool cost? So guys, we will share in a moment the link to book a call with me personally, and I will go you through all the price list of our tool. We have many options. We have like paid POC programs, free trials, as we have already said. So feel free to book the call with me, and we will jump into the details of the commercial stuff in the minute after that. So yeah. And this is, I think, a question, or no, it's not a question. Maintenance test scripts may be a nightmare if the tool aren't easy to use. Yes, that's correct. This is the nightmare. Is it possible? It is possible to script as business logic, like using gherkin for EA is similar RSAT.
So the gherkins are a little bit different for sure, but comparing EA and RSAT, you can be sure that Executive Automats is way easier to use. I personally worked with both tools, and what I like the most about Executive Automats is what you said, maintenance of the scripts, how we can record new steps, how we change the values, how we move scripts, how we copy steps, things like that. Because we can speak about how many scripts you can run in parallel, or how fast scripts are executed, or some other features. But by the end of the day, for people which are working with the tool, the most important part is what you commented, that the maintenance and how easy it is to make. This makes a difference. So in EA, everything is simple and clean. So in RSAT, I know that maintenance might be problematic in many ways. I have the same experience, and as well I heard it from my colleagues. So yeah, here EA is way better, I would say. Thank you for the comment, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Katya. So I think we have just run out the questions so far. Oh, no, there is one additional thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I would answer the same thing. How flexible Executive Automats is compared to RSAT? How easy it is to use this tool? How easy it is to schedule tests, to run the background mode? How we can create proof of a test, so the report from the testing, how easy it is. Also, how you can easily record new steps in the script, which will contain like 500 steps. So I would say this is the biggest difference for me, because I have experience with both tools.
Cool. Thank you, Pavel. So, yeah, I think we are just heading to. No, I see that there's one more question about the RSAT. No longer features with University focus will be included.
Yes, of course, they will support RSAT in Dynamics because they are releasing new versions of Dynamics. So, of course, they need to release new versions of RSAT. But yeah, no longer features. So you cannot expect that the tool will get easier or get better at some point. It will still support Dynamics, obviously, but compared to Executive Automats, you can be sure that we will still improve user experience, user interface, as well as the stability within the platforms. That's obvious, but also we are planning new features which will allow you to test faster or to help you with your automation projects. This is what I mentioned as well during my presentation, that Executive Automats already have the features to help you manage documentation, manage your team, statuses, and to schedule the tests. So this is the difference between the tools as well, and you can consider that. Thank you.
Cool, amazing. Thank you, guys, for such a lot of questions. This is very cool. If you have any more of those, just feel free to ask right now. Yeah, I will just because I need to hide them. Yeah, now it's correct. Cool. So thank you, Martin. Thank you, Katya. Thank you, Bart. Thank you, Natashka. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, guys. You are far too kind. Well, yeah, we are heading to the end. See the session. So remember that if you want to know more, like the price list, like when you can save how you can save and earn the money, basically, with usage of the Executive Automats in terms of the test automation, feel free to book a call with me. This is the link. I think we'll have if you have 50 minutes of your time, you will know everything what you need to know. Cool. And I also want to show you something, because we are really in the same office.
Thank you very much.